The entertainment world erupted without warning. In a single morning, every major outlet, from Deadline to The Guardian, confirmed the shocking news that Caitriona Balfe's 9-year marriage had officially ended. Fans were stunned. Reporters scrambled. Social media plunged into meltdown within seconds. But the true explosion came when a close insider revealed the divorce was triggered not by infidelity, money, or distance, but by one unexpected name whispered during the couple's final argument. At first, people assumed the story was exaggerated. A marriage as private and composed as Caitriona's couldn't possibly collapse because of a single name. But as more details poured in, the narrative shifted from disbelief to eerie fascination. According to someone with direct knowledge of the situation, the final confrontation between Caitriona and Tony McGill was raw, emotional, and decades overdue. During that argument, Tony uttered a name he had been avoiding for years, one that instantly changed everything. Sources close to the couple admitted the marriage had shown cracks long before the public knew. As Caitriona's career intensified, new projects, long filming schedules, international travel, she grew increasingly distant. She insisted it was stress. Tony insisted he understood, but friends quietly noticed the emotional gap widening, a subtle erosion of the closeness they once shared. The turning point, one friend said, was when Tony finally asked a question that Caitriona couldn't answer honestly. A question tied directly to that mysterious name. Journalists began digging into their past, hunting for clues. They discovered whispers of tension dating back more than a year, missed appearances, strained interviews, and the absence of the couple at functions they previously attended together. When the divorce announcement dropped, people started connecting dots that had silently appeared over time. A cancelled anniversary trip, a quiet birthday celebration, a noticeable shift in Caitriona's demeanor whenever certain topics came up in interviews. The inside story became even more disturbing when a family friend revealed Tony had sensed the name hovering over their marriage for years. He tried to overlook it at first, convincing himself it was nothing more than the pressure of Caitriona's demanding career. But as time passed, the signs became harder to ignore. Moments when Caitriona fell silent. Moments when her expression shifted. Moments when a simple question about work triggered a response that felt too heavy to be casual. According to one insider, the final fight happened late at night after Caitriona returned from a long trip. Tony, exhausted from months of uncertainty, finally confronted her. The argument escalated quickly, years of suppressed frustration rising to the surface. And then Tony spoke the name. A name he had suspected for far too long. A name that made Caitriona stop mid-sentence and fall completely silent. Witnesses say that silence was the real breaking point, not anger, not betrayal, but the truth reflected in the quiet between them. That silence, as one source said, told Tony everything he had been afraid to ask. Fans immediately began speculating about the identity behind the mysterious name. Was it a past partner? A hidden relationship? A long-buried secret? Social media exploded with theories, some wild, some painfully plausible. Entertainment pundits argued that the marriage had long been overshadowed by rumors involving another figure in Caitriona's professional life, someone who had been by her side for years, both on and off cameras. But until now, no one believed those whispers could genuinely affect her personal life. Online forums became war zones of speculation. People combed through old photos, interviews, behind-the-scenes footage, searching for any moment that might reveal emotional tension brewing beneath the surface. A small detail here, a subtle glance there. Every clip from the last decade was suddenly re-examined with forensic intensity. And the more fans looked, the more patterns they saw. Patterns they had ignored. Patterns they had dismissed as imagination. Patterns that now felt like warning signs. A crew member from one of Caitriona's projects added even more fuel to the fire. According to them, the name Tony said wasn't random. It was someone he felt had always been in the room with them, even when that person wasn't physically present. That cryptic description sent fandom into a frenzy. The idea that a third person, someone silent, someone unspoken, could loom over a marriage for 9 years fascinated and horrified the public. But the most unsettling comment came from a longtime friend of Caitriona's, who described the divorce as inevitable the moment that name left Tony's mouth. They claimed Caitriona's reaction wasn't denial or shock, it was heartbreak. Not heartbreak over the marriage ending, but heartbreak over the truth finally being exposed. The friend's final words sent chills through everyone who read them. "If you knew the name Tony said that night, you'd understand everything." As the story spread across the entertainment world, more insiders began stepping forward, each one revealing a new piece of the puzzle behind Caitriona's sudden divorce. It soon became clear that the relationship had been strained long before the final argument. One close acquaintance said the couple had been circling the same unresolved question for years, avoiding it, suppressing it, pretending it didn't exist. But in reality, the question had been waiting like a storm cloud, hovering over every conversation, every trip, every quiet night at home. And the moment Tony finally dared to say the name out loud, the storm broke. What shocked people most wasn't that a name ended the marriage, it was how quickly everything crumbled afterward. Friends recalled that Caitríona didn't argue. She didn't deny. She didn't lash out or attempt to repair the moment. Instead, she went silent, then sat down as if her body couldn't hold itself upright anymore. Tony realized instantly that the truth had always been there, sitting uncomfortably between them for nearly a decade. A truth neither of them had wanted to face openly. In the days after the argument, the emotional distance between them grew too wide to cross. Caitríona moved into a separate room. Tony reached out to her several times, each attempt ending in a quiet, painful conversation that brought them no closer to reconciliation. According to a family friend, Tony said, "I wasn't angry about the name. I was heartbroken that she couldn't look me in the eye when I said it." Those words carried a heaviness that confirmed what everyone suspected. This wasn't a marriage destroyed by betrayal, but by unspoken love. Journalists dug deeper, tracing the tension back through years of interviews and public appearances. They noticed that whenever certain topics were brought up, partnership, chemistry, emotional connection, Caitriona's tone shifted. A tiny hesitation, a flicker in her eyes, a softness that didn't match her otherwise composed demeanor. These moments, insignificant at the time, now felt like signs pointing towards something she had kept locked away. Then came the insider report that changed everything. A crew member who had worked closely with Caitríona for years revealed that during one difficult filming season, Caitríona confided in them about a complicated emotional attachment she couldn't shake. She didn't name the person, but she described the connection as deep, unintentional, and impossible to forget. The crew member admitted they never pressed her, out of respect, out of fear, but they always suspected the attachment was at the heart of her internal struggle. As speculation reached its peak, a new insider emerged, someone who had been in the house the night the name was spoken. According to them, Tony didn't shout it. He didn't accuse. He simply said it quietly, almost pleadingly. "Do you love him?" The room reportedly went still. Caitríona looked away, tears forming, unable to answer. That silent non-answer was the moment Tony knew their marriage was over. It was the silence, the insider said. Not the name. The silence confirmed everything. The identity behind the name became the internet's biggest obsession. Fans argued endlessly. Was it a co-star? A longtime friend? Someone she had known before her marriage? Every theory circulated. Every timeline was analyzed. But the most persistent speculation centered around one person. A name that had followed Caitríona for 12 years of her career. A name that always lingered whenever discussions of chemistry or emotional connection arose. And though no insider dared confirm it directly, their hints were unmistakable. Still, the story didn't end with the name. Another twist came when someone close to Caitríona revealed a painful truth. She hadn't left the marriage because she wanted to be with someone else. She left because staying meant denying a part of herself she could no longer ignore. The emotional attachment she had carried for years wasn't fading. It wasn't a phase. It wasn't fictional. It had become a shadow she lived with every day, and pretending it didn't exist had drained her to the point of emotional exhaustion. The source explained it simply. She didn't choose divorce because of another man. She chose it because she couldn't continue lying, to Tony, or to herself. By the time the entertainment world caught up with the revelation, the narrative had shifted. This wasn't a scandal about infidelity, scandalous messages, or romantic betrayals. It was a love story that had never been allowed to fully exist, an emotional truth buried under a marriage that could no longer hold its weight. And though the official documents listed irreconcilable differences, those who knew the real story said something else entirely. The marriage didn't end because of a name. It ended because the name finally revealed the truth Caitríona had been carrying in silence. For 9 long years.